Going? Yeah, I never know really when it starts because the little live up here, it's not always perfect. But I think we're going now. What up, everybody? It's Friday. Hopefully, for most of the people showing up today, they are getting to the end of the work week. We got a bit left to do today. It's 2 p.m. If you're not catching this live, but you're going to show up later or you're going to re-watch it. It's 2 p.m. We've got a glue up that we're trying to get done today. And then, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to work both days during the weekend. That might be pretty standard here for the next, I don't know, probably month and a half or so. Who do we got? We just got somebody. Yeah, going to be working probably most weekends up until the end of November. And this weekend, coming up tomorrow, oh, they left, that's okay, includes one of those weekends. So we're going to hang out for just a second. We're going to let people come on in. Yeah, I guess I can talk about this today because this is something that you guys have seen. This is that finished glue up of the piece we were working on yesterday. As you can see, it is a Frankenstein of clamps and scaffoldings and supports and jigs. I have no idea how many pounds of pressure are holding this thing right now, but my guess is it's in the thousands of pounds. Each one of these clamps really can crank hard, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 8, and then 18, 19, 20 clamps that's holding this thing together. Got some people popping in and out. That was one of the more stressful glue ups I think I've ever done. And truth be told, I'm gonna give it about a 92 in terms of how it went. Let's see. Can we see how that went? Not really. The joints are in between all of this, but I'm looking from the top here where most people would be seeing this joint, and it looks really, really nice. When you come and you look at it from the side over here, there's just a little bit of space. I think that is going to be easily filled. And the other thing is, because we've changed the grain orientation of that corner, we are going to be able to smooth it out a little bit better. When everything was flowing over the waterfall joint, any break in the grain was really, really noticeable. But when you break it up with horizontal grain, I think it's a lot better, just for basically how lenient or how much room for wiggle room or error you have. So this we're not touching today. We're going to let this thing just hunker down for the rest of today, tomorrow. I'll probably, that's interesting. I will probably take the clamps off tomorrow. One thing that I actually am nervous about, the only reason this worked is because I had these clamps over here, these guys, they are yanking in. They're pulling this way to tighten up this seam right here. So these are cranking in like that. And over here, these are cranking in like that. And they are both pulling against each other on this scaffolding, brace, whatever you want to call it. And I can tell you, again, probably thousands of pounds of pressure. I'm looking down it, and those 2x4s, there are 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. They are bowing in the middle under all of that pressure. That's fine. That's fine. That actually helps kind of crank it more. But the thing I am nervous about is the piece in the middle, the white oak tabletop. It could be doing something similar. And so I don't want to have the white oak tabletop that will remain forever be subject to all that stress and force and bending for a long time. PNRT. I do not know what that stands for, but what is up, nerd? P's got to be silent, right? Yeah, so we got a few more people now. That's pretty sweet. I was just kind of telling everyone as we're hopping in what I was doing today earlier. I really wish that I could have done this on live, but I had to do all of it at one time, and I really wanted to film it on my camera here and on my DSLR camera, the sideways. Deirdre, am I pronouncing that right? Hello, how are you doing? Yeah, I hope I pronounced that somewhat correctly. Yeah, but so anyway, I wanted to do a live on this one, and originally I was planning on it because I thought I could glue one half over there, get all the footage that I needed recorded, and then later on do the other half. But as it turned out, I needed to do both of them at the same time so they could be pulling against each other, if that makes sense. But it is going, it's drying. Again, I'm 92% happy with it, but because of the geometry of the joint, 92% I think is going to be plenty good enough. Let me actually take you off here for a second. Deirdre, okay, awesome. Thank you for the pronunciation. Okay, Nightbot, what up, dude? I'll shout out Nightbot. But anyway, so here's the joint. I hope you can see that right here. This is what we're looking at. So you can look down it, and I'm pretty happy with that joint from the top. Now, one area that I'll need to address is right at the end. I don't think that this goes the entire way through the joint. I feel like the end right here, this wood, it might not have been perfectly straight the whole way, and I think this wood just kind of dove back a little bit, or right here dove that way. So I think the gap is just at the end, and we have good surface contact the rest of the way through. I don't know if you guys could see that. Can you send me free DeWalt tools? I'm very poor. Unfortunately, I am not able to because I also do not have a sponsorship from DeWalt. I've tried. I've tagged them in a bunch of stuff, and they responded to one comment one time, and it was like on the worst post possible. I think I was like crawling around on the floor showing how disorganized I was, but I was using their sander, so I tagged them. And of course, that's the one they were like, hey, Outer Woods, yeah, that's funny. And it's like, no, can you respond to the like beautiful finished piece of furniture that I made and tagged you guys? So I don't have free DeWalt tools, unfortunately. Yeah, I love woodworking. This is awesome. Yeah, this is going to be a cool live session here. We are going to do some very ASMR type of stuff for a little while, and then we are going to do a glue up. If you saw the thumbnail today, that's what we are trying to make. It's currently 2 o'clock my time. Who knows where you are in the world? And we're going to go hopefully for like 2 hours today. And by the end of the 2 hours, these 3 pieces of wood, 1, 2, 3, should all be connected and look like this. That's the goal. Truth be told, the goal was to do that glue up on Wednesday. And it's now Friday, and we are going to pull a buzzer beater here. What wood is that? The actual table, all of this, that is white oak. Beautiful species of wood. It's relatively expensive right now, unfortunately. I think it's pretty highly sought after currently. So yeah, it's getting more and more expensive. We might start jumping into this, gang. I think we got a good number of people. Yeah, we actually skyrocketed pretty quickly. So we're gonna jump into this and we're gonna actually start doing the woodworking. If you were here Wednesday, you saw the beginning of this process. We got SCC. Red oak is the only oak we can find where I live in Canada. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know, other than where I am, what woods are easy to get, hard to get. One wood that we have here that I know is considered, I think, relatively rare other places is this species right here. That's pecan wood. That's actually a live edge slab of pecan wood. in Texas, where I live and where my shop is, there are pecan trees everywhere, and there are a few mills nearby that basically go harvest fallen over pecan trees on people's land that they're like, hey, we don't know what to do with it. It's a 400,000 pound tree. I can't do anything with it. So they call these sawmills, drive out with these huge trucks and these cranks and winches, pull it up onto the truck, mill it up, and then kiln dry it. And that's these live edge slabs. So they're responsibly sourced, I suppose you could say. So yeah, we have a lot of pecan. We also have a lot of cedar. And that's an interesting wood, but it's good for various purposes. But yeah, red oak, we have red oak here. But that's a bummer that you guys can't get white oak. Let's see, we're gonna start going because yeah, we got some good numbers here. So the first thing I need to do is I'm going to grab one of these guys and I'm gonna put it on what I'm using today as the workbench. What do we got? Basically only maple, red oak, poplar, pine, basswood, cedar, and rarely cherry. Ever worked with Swiss elm? I don't think I've ever worked with Swiss elm. I've worked with elm a few times, not in lumber form, but in live edge slab form. I don't know if we have elm that grows abundantly here. But yeah, SCC. We have all of those. I don't really use basswood ever. Pine, I don't use pine a whole lot for final projects. Ironically, I am using that today. But yeah, I'm typically these days, I'm using a lot of white oak. The reason being is over the years that I've been doing this full time, growing the business, I've started working with quite a few interior designers, and interior designers are always trying to get white oak pieces of furniture, primarily because white oak is like, the grain's gorgeous. That's number one, easy. But the other thing is it stains really, really well. And so they can match the pieces of custom furniture that I'm making to whatever else they have in their home. So a lot of white oak is what I use typically for custom pieces if it's not a live edge. And then I personally really like walnut as well, but good grief, it's expensive. But without further ado, let's get going on things. I'm gonna try as best as I can to read comments and answer questions as I'm doing this. It's gonna be a mixture of reading comments, answering questions, some ASMR stuff. We're gonna be using a hand planer, which we learned more about last time. I rarely ever use hand planers, but I have to get a really flat surface on this massive piece right here, and it's difficult to take the piece to the tool. You have to take the tool to the piece, and the tool for that is a hand planer. Yeah, if you were here Wednesday, you know that these massive beams that made up this leg right here, what was I gonna say? This is what the client wanted me to make it out of. They had extra beams like this, and this is just, it's thicker stock than anything that I typically use. So it's been a little bit of a challenging project, not because the geometry is hard or the design is hard. It's more just that the geometry and the design using this thick of wood, my tools don't really go all the way through it or all the way over it. I have to get creative. So you'll see some of that today. Let me put this down because I've just been holding it. And then we can start hand planing, which is a very relaxing process. There we go. Okay. Let's get you in a good spot. That is a good spot. Can we see everything? Yeah. I don't know what you guys see in terms of the comments. Let me know. I do commercial fit outs. Carpentry is by far the most skilled trade. There's a bug flying around me. Very cool. Yeah, carpentry, I agree with you. Depends on, I guess, what you're doing. I mean, I could imagine you could get into some, electrician stuff or some plumbing stuff or some HVAC stuff that gets to be neurosurgery. But if you're making complicated pieces in carpentry, I mean, hell, let's look at this thing. That's pretty fine work, as in like tedious work. Where have I put my hand plane? That's the first question. I was just using it. It's way over here. Hold on. Yeah, and then, well, you know, this is only our, what is this? I don't know what number live stream this is. We haven't done hundreds of them. The channel is growing quickly, which is really cool, but we're still at its infancy. So I don't know how many of the people watching right now are new or they've seen me before doing anything. I'll kind of give you a little bit of a brief backstory for those of you that are new. My name's Tanner. I have been running this business, it's called Outer Woods, for 4 3/4 years now. And I say 4 3/4 right now because I think 5 years, that's like the standard that all the statistics are about, like if your business makes it. So yeah, I started this business 4 3/4 years ago. We've almost made it to 5 years. We should make it unless things flame out in a blazing ball of fire. Before that, I was a biomedical engineer. I feel actually more like an engineer now than I did actually when I was an engineer. So what do we got? Hello, yes, Squeegee, that's what I'm talking about. David Oakes, what is going on? David Oakes, that's a cool last name, dude. So yeah, that's my story. The things that I make, mostly custom pieces, but once a year, and it's this time of the year, we get to really pull out all the stops for a big show that we're doing in a month and a half, which is why things are gonna get so unbelievably busy up until the end of December. This piece that we're working on right now is a relatively simple one in terms of the design. So apologies that there's not a crazy carving. We love doing carving things. We've worked with a lot of live edge pieces, really unique structures and geometry. This one is just big, rustic, robust, blocky pieces of wood. It's fitting in a really specific nook, a 3-walled nook. So let's get going. I'm gonna start hand planing this. I'll quit yapping for a second so that you can just kind of enjoy the hand planing. Let me take off the microphone and I'll put it right here. Let me know. I'll keep checking the comments every once in a while. Was I not enjoying the biomedical engineering? Great question. And I'll get to the woodworking in just a second. It's not that I wasn't enjoying it per se. It was the description of my job was very niche and tiny. And the description of the job that I wanted was kind of like the entirety of the team's responsibility. Like the team's responsibility, I was designing shoulder implants is what my team was doing. And then, you know, auxiliary teams, everyone combined was designing and manufacturing the newest shoulder implants. But then when you siphoned off everything or siloed off and everyone was doing their individual thing, my individual thing felt very tiny in the process, and I wasn't really able to solve problems. I wasn't getting to be creative. I wasn't getting to design things. And as you'll probably find, the longer we hang out together and do these live videos, I'm a little bit of a, I don't know, wild, like a loose cannon, I guess. I kind of like to steer my own ship. And so this vibe that you see here in a dirty shop, yelling at you guys, is much more in line with what I want my workspace to look like than the alternative. Oh, and then there was another question that looked like a good one. We got a carpenter from Germany. That's what I'm talking about. Tried to build guitars for a living. Yeah, whoa, that's really, really impressive. That's okay that it didn't work out because you can still do it as much as you want to, it sounds like. That's really cool. I bet you made beautiful stuff. But yes, we're going to get going. Let me make sure I didn't miss any other major questions. Okay, hopefully you heard all that from the microphone that's all the way over there. But hopefully this also sounds nice as I, let's get to work. Yeah, let's get to work. All right, let me know if this sounds nice or if it doesn't. But someone from the chat, I forget who it was, on Wednesday, gave some really good tips about hand planing, and it's been going much better since. Let's see, this, I'm trying to decide, this is the inside of one of those legs. If you look at the thumbnail for the video, this is the inside, and the inside is the more important face. People will see the inside more. But we want the prettier looking half of the inside face towards the ground. Meaning the other half, the uglier half, has to be very, very, very flat. And I think this is going to be the ground side. Let me write that down, actually. This is going to be, that pencil's not working, ground. One other thing that we're going to do, and again, this is a tip from someone the other day. I do this when I'm sanding, but this could be really helpful to be able to visualize it for you guys watching the stream. I'm going to color on this. And we know, let me get a better pencil for coloring. We have to remove all this pencil. Once we've removed all the pencil, we know that we have planed the entire face. And really, I want to make sure that all of the pencil is gone like this is the key area in here, because this face is going to be where a joint happens. I hope you guys can see that. This is the key area up here. This is important, but not as important. So let's keep rolling. And pine being a softwood, it's really nice to plane. This knot right here, if you can see it, is giving me a little bit of trouble. I've explained this a couple times, but knots are where sticks or branches were spouting out of the tree. And so all the grain on this whole glue up is going this way, but then right here, the grain's going this way. And planers and other jointers and other blades like that don't like cutting across the grain. They like cutting with the grain. So it's kind of catching and blowing out some wood, but that's all right. Caught a little bit. Remove you. Can we still see? Yeah, it's pretty good. I've been told, let me read the comments real fast. Yes, you are correct, KB Music. A longer plane is better. I, again, rarely ever hand plane stuff. I have some larger tools that I typically use to get surfaces really flat. But those larger tools have kind of like a maximum surface area they can plane or smooth down, and this is too big for that. So I rarely hand plane. This was actually a gift from somebody. So yeah, it's not the hugest, That's a terrible word. It's not the largest hand plane, but it's doing just fine, is I'm kind of finding for this. As long as I'm making long, even, smooth passes, I think that it's been going just fine. But yeah, the longer your hand plane is, essentially, the more it's referencing to get a flat surface. Corners are kind of hard to get because you can't make as long of passes. You got to be careful near the edge because the grain's running this way, and if you catch something, you can like flake off large chunks of grain. And can you try? Yeah. Let's try the mic on the shirt. I don't know if that was difficult to hear me yapping. Let me know if this is better. I'll just keep going. But yeah, you don't want to blow out grain when you're getting close to the edge. So the corners are kind of hard to get. We're just going to be really light. Can even change the orientation that we're going, because now I'm not blowing out the grain this way. Now I'm just kind of combing the grain with me. But it doesn't always catch. And it feels like this corner might actually kind of be a low spot. Hey. Oh, that's a good one. Okay. So again, this bottom side that I've been working on, yes, it needs to be flat, but nothing's getting jointed right here. So I can sand this, and as long as it looks pretty flat, which this is well flat enough to look pretty flat, this is gonna be A-okay. Still all of this in here, same sort of thing, just has to look pretty flat. The actual functional joint is all the way up here. I hope you can see that. Let me get closer. Yeah, you can see the line, that line. Whoa. So we'll get that last so that we kind of get our groove before then. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's going. This is making some nice, fluffy, thin strips. Like, this is great. Is that microphone better? Yo, what up, Thomas? Gosh? What's going on, dude? All right, we're getting into the money zone. Yeah, if you have end grain near the edge, that's particularly scary for like blowouts and chunking it out, which is what we have right here. And honestly, I might just leave that. Oh yeah, okay, that just happened. I don't know if you can see right here, I just kind of blew a little bit of a chunk out. I have a little bit to plane off on the ends, so I've got a little bit of insurance there, but I need to make sure that I'm not at, oh goodness, this ingrain stuff is really catching. Yeah. Woo! Okay, that's gonna be fine for down there. Now, let's get to the important stuff. Huh. How we doing? Any questions? Do you remember me? Thomas. Yes, Thomas Shepard. The name sounds very familiar. Were you on one of the live streams earlier? Can you clamp the piece down? I definitely could. I'm working on my table saw because all my other pieces, or all my other tabletops are very dirty right now. And the table saw doesn't have a fantastic place to grip it, like underneath the table where I'm grabbing just isn't very robust. But sure, we'll give it a try. Now it's just gonna want to pivot. That's better. That is better. I'm seeing a little bit of a low spot right here. Doesn't feel like much, just a little bit of a low spot. Maybe it's just going that way. Oh. Oh. Okay. If anything's high, it's over here. It is not that much. I'm very happy with how this is going. We're gonna give it a test. It's very flat. Couple little spots, maybe. Like right here seems maybe a little high. Let's give that a go. It's very good. And the thing is, I'm gonna clamp this with the might of 1,000 suns. Like, we're gonna put a lot of pressure. Let's see, Thomas. Yes, yes. Yes, Thomas. Okay, if you're on the live chat, then yeah, I remember your name. What's up, dude? Sylvester, what's going on? A Kemp? You betcha. Yeah, so I think even though this is a really big, beefy, flat stalk, I think that I'm going to be able to get it to smush and bend a little bit to mold around this face and the other face. So what I'm going to do now is, you can see the end of this. You actually can't see the end of this because of the camera angle, but don't worry, I'll get you there. There we are. Yeah, sorry that I have a tripod that's not great, it's what it is, but when I change it and like change the angle, it kind of jiggles, and apparently I've heard that's jostling for viewers, so I will try to mitigate the jostling. But yeah, the ends of this are quite rough and bumpy right now, and we need this. I'm gonna write what's going on. Did I write this is ground? Okay. This is top, and this is inside over here. This will be going on the ground, so this needs to be perfectly flat. So we need to take our track saw, and we need to flatten this. The thing is, the track saw does not go all the way through this material. Luckily, it goes over half, so I can make a cut, flip it over, make a cut, then we'll be all the way through. So we're gonna do that next. The way I've been doing this is kind of just hoping that everything is nice and squared up to each other. Like, the edge of this is parallel to this. Theoretically, they should be. In reality, experimentally, if you know woodworking, you know it does not always happen like that. I ran all of these 4 individual beams over the jointer right there a few days ago, and a jointer's unbelievably accurate at getting surfaces super flat, but it does not always guarantee that that surface is parallel to its opposite surface. Know what I'm saying? So that could be something to deal with. We're just gonna see how close we got to both of the ends being parallel. Pretty dang close. That looks super nice. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make this cut. Let me also make sure really quickly that where I've made my cleanup line gives us enough room to make the actual measurement line over here. We need 23 3/4 inches. I'm not actually going to make the real line. I want to do that based on where the cut is, not my mark. But this is just for my own peace of mind. Ooh, my. That is closer than I would have liked it to be. Make it on both sides. And see if we do, in fact, have 23 3/4 inches. Also, if you're just tuning in for the first time about this piece, this particular client is a particular client. They want things a very specific way, and I'm going to do my best to give that to them. And so this was one of those really specific things where, like, the width of this, or the depth of this into it which we have not looked at that dimension yet, is supposed to be 24 and 7/8. Not 25, not 24 and a half, 24 and 7/8. Awesome. Let's get this going. Now time to use the track saw. We're going with Festool. That's the track saw that I have. The reason that I got it, actually, was really peculiar. For a while, so what I'm doing here, if you don't know what a track saw is, you lay a track down and you can put the edge of the track perfectly on the line that we have created, and the saw rides on this track and cuts perfectly on the line. You don't need to clamp the track to the piece. There are little foam guys underneath here that keep this thing hunkered down with any amount of weight on it. It's a really, really helpful tool. But what I was saying is that I didn't have a track saw for the longest time, but then I got put into contact with someone who was making murals. I will leave out the material they were using on the very, very, very slight chance that they are in this chat. But anyway, they were making murals, and they were doing very well for themselves making these murals, and they needed someone, me, I was the someone, to cut massive plywood panels, frame up plywood panels, so that they could make their murals on the plywood. And they were asking for a lot of these panels, and a track saw is perfect for breaking down plywood. So she was asking me to do enough of them to where I justified easily, let's get a track saw so that that can go quicker. Let's see, are you putting the double side tape on the track again? Not this time. If you were here yesterday, you saw me putting double-sided tape on the bottom of this track saw so it didn't wobble around. That was for a cut that was like a multi-$1,000 cut. If you really like look at all the numbers and the pressure on that specific cut, it needed to be perfect. And earlier, before the live chat yesterday, I was making a similar cut on the other side of the piece, and it wobbled on me. And I don't know if it was because I bumped it or something, or there was sawdust under it. So yesterday, when I was making the very, very high pressure cut, I put double-sided tape. I only do that if it's like mandatory that the cut is perfect. I have a little bit of wiggle room here, and it's pine, so it's gonna go a lot easier than white oak. So there's not gonna be as much resistance making this cut. So I'm not as worried about this one. It feels pretty hunkered down. Let's put the track on there, and then our fearless moderator, Big Squeegee. The PPE right here is for you, bud. It's for me, really. I do put on my protective gear when I am able to, which is all the time when I'm using power tools. For like the hand plane, wasn't too worried about that. But yes, respirator. Don't know what it's, 3M? Yeah, 3M. Sponsor us, Outer Woods, 3M. What a collaboration waiting to happen. Husky goggles. I don't like these. Sorry, Stephen Husky, the creator of Husky the brand. Not really, if you were in the chat. Love some of your other stuff. The goggles, not so much. Headphones, I don't know. Anyway, let's get going. Unfortunately, one thing I'm gonna have to do, so we're gonna have to flip it over, right? What do we got? Sure, it's for me, but yeah, Mr. Biffix over there is always about safety first. Yes, thank you, Mr. Biffix. Let me see if I missed any other questions. What do we got? No, I think we're good right now. So what we have to do is we're gonna flip this piece over to make the other cut, but we have not put the McCoy's bandana back on. McCoy's, sponsor us. What are you doing? But yeah, one thing I have to do really quickly, remember, this is the inside. Up here, it's gotta be perfectly flat for a functional joint. The other side is going to be into a wall, face up against a wall, inches away from a wall. I'm not as worried about this side. However, it has to be flat enough so that the track of the track saw is nice and hunkered down. So let me take 2 minutes just to blitz through hand planing this side. I do not need this to be a functionally flat face for a perfect joint. I just need it to be flat enough so that the track can ride over it. And that will not take much. Goodness. This end grain right here, the grain direction changing is really throwing off the hand planer, kind of chunking out some wood. Less than ideal, but that's fine. Okay. While I'm doing this, oh geez, I will open this question to the chat. What is the coolest thing anyone's doing this weekend? Let's hear it. I want to hear deep sea spear fishing. I want to hear goat wrangling. I want to hear, you know, what are you doing this weekend? Tell you what I'm doing this weekend, working, because I'm behind. Not gonna lie, this is really tiring to just kind of keep plunging through all the wood. Oh boy. Okay, that side is plenty flat. Let's get this side real fast while we're over here. This side looks really good. Except for these damn knots. I tell you one thing that I am doing this weekend, watching some football. Oh, Squeegee's running his first 5K. What's the goal on time, Squeegee? Finette, what up? How are you doing? Finette from France. Clive, what is happening indeed? We are preparing these pieces right now for the final glue up of the piece, where the piece will actually take shape as opposed to just being these large blocks of wood. What is happening this instant is I'm trying to hand plane these massive blocks of wood so that my track of my track saw can sit real nice and hunkered down on it. And I think we've done just that. Holy moly, that's tiring. Which side? Okay, that's the side. Now, the key is aligning the cut we have already made. Oh yeah, we got Richard from Portugal. What's going on, Richard? The goal squeegee for the 5K, to finish without walking. You got it. You can do that. Finette going to Paris to see her friends. That's what I'm talking about. You guys got some cool weekend plans here. Yeah, Squeegee, you got the 5K. You got it. You're going sub 18. You're running 5-minute, 45-second miles, I bet. Yeah, so we got to pull the cut that we just made from the bottom side to the top side. And the trick is aligning that cut and having it be perfectly seamless where it all meets up. That has been the trick that it's tough to do. And the track saw is very, very good at what it does. But I don't know, it seems like mine it's missing right now. And I don't know if that's just because I've been using my track so much that it's like the track is warping, or if it's because I'm like eating into the plastic strip and the metal with the blade that is the indicator of where the blade's gonna go. I don't know. Or maybe I ate it one time and now it's not eating it this time. So it misses, but I'm trying to learn how it misses so that I can account for it. Oh, we got a big comment. What do we got here? Wrangling 18 cats. Wesley, that's a lot of cats. And it's not only that, it's 8 kittens that belong to an elderly woman that passed away. That's very nice of you. Oh my gosh, and you're paying to have them spayed and neutered and immunized. That is a weekend plan. Good on you, Wesley. That's very kind of you. You're thinking too much. I might be. I just might be. And then Richard, what do we got? We're good on the other side of the world. Build logical strings instruments. That's cool. What am I making? I am making, it's technically, this is a console table. It's at a really weird height. It's only 24 inches off the ground, 23 3/4. If my client is watching, it's 23 3/4, not an eighth of an inch over that. But it's technically a console table. And then it's gonna go into this very specific nook in the entryway of this person's house. That is what I'm making. And so right now, you're currently looking at one of the legs. That line wasn't, that's actually really good. I'm currently making one of the legs. I'm chopping off the excess. Oh yeah, we're right on it. We're right on it. That's great. I've already made, oh shoot, my pencil broke. I have already made one cut through the other side, and so now I'm trying to, from the top or the bottom, meet that cut so that we have one nice clean look. These, here, hold on, let me show you what the piece looks like again. For everyone who's hopping on, this is what the piece looks like. Cool? And we are making this guy right now, or this guy, I don't know which one. But the part that I'm cutting is this surface right here. And so yes, we want it to be as perfect as possible, but that is an aesthetic perfect rather than a functional perfect, if you can understand what I mean by that. Like, I can sand this down to aesthetically look like it's flat. The end of this one, we'll cut that in a minute, the ends of this one have to be functionally perfect to butt up to the inside face of this guy. This is what we're making. Let's make this second cut. Just gonna park the bus right here. Absolutely park the bus. Where's my saw? Here it is. Yep. Safety first. We're keeping the McCoy's bandana on. We're going really hard for the McCoy's sponsorship. Yikes. Yeah. So remember how I was saying that my track saw misses, but I know how it misses? Oh goodness, McCoy's, sponsor us. That was a really good demonstration of that. I can't really even feel the interface between where the blades met up. So I'm happy with that. That's really good. Now we need to actually, that was just the cleanup side. Now we need to make the perfectly 23 3/4 inches side. So let's turn this thing around. We're gonna get this glued today. What time is it? 2:55. We're gonna get this glued. However long this takes, we're getting it glued. I say that. If it's 8:30 p.m. and it's still not glued, I might go home. But it won't be that. We're getting it done. 23 3/4. Right? Let me make sure. Where is it? Is this backwards for you guys? Height. Height. 23 3/4. I don't know if that's backwards. Have I tried epoxy resin within your woodworking? Alex, yes I have. I actually, depending on the season, do a lot of it. Haven't done one in probably like 2 or 3 months. But I've done really, really big epoxy pours, conference tables, dining tables, things like that. I know it's a hot button topic. Some people love it, some people hate it. Oh yes, it's backwards. All right. Well, sorry, that was just Sanskrit poetry right there then. Yes, I've done quite a bit of epoxy. Like, see this live edge slab right there? That originally was an epoxy project, and I have that left over. So yeah, done a lot of that. Let me make sure that, what do we got? Gorbanali. Did I get that right? Gorbanali? Great to have you here. Who else? Richard, all good. I don't know if I caught what was all good. Yeah. Cool. Rizvan, am I saying that correctly? Welcome to the chat. Good to have you here. Okay. 23 3, I didn't even check it. I was yapping. 23 3/4. Let me go measure the other one because I already measured that guy. And if that's not 23 3/4, then we got an issue. Good news. It is 23 3/4. It cannot be more 23 3/4 than that is right there. So that's awesome. Okay. Yeah, Rizvan. Am I saying that correctly? How's it going, dude? Good to have you here. Okay. 23 3/4. Let me get. I'm in the way. I'm so in the way. And remember I made those little marks earlier? I'm curious to see how good they're going to be. I'm going to make them again now that I actually have a cut. And I make a bunch of marks. Some might say too many. But when I make all these marks at 23 3/4, it just helps me know that I'm on the money. And we're just trying to be on the money these days, you know? Cool. Again, let's see how nice and parallel my two edges are. It's looking pretty good. Where's that mark? Okay. Something we're gonna have to start implementing in these lives is scheduled breaks, because I can get lost in the sauce, and then I'll go like 2.5 hours without stopping, and I need to at least be drinking water. Okay, we've already cut that side. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make the same line going all the way. Yeah, measure twice, measure thrice, and one more time. Do more, talk less. You got it, Chris. Yeah, I'm gonna measure all the way around. Let's see how nice those measurements were actually on this side. Ooh, that's actually pretty good. I do not need to redo that cut, or that line. Sweet. How's this? It's a little, just a little. So it's perfect on this side, and the other side kind of moved just a little. I do wonder, as I redraw this line, how it lines up with the other side. That will be the question. We're just gonna go for it. We're gonna go for it. Again, one side does need to be pretty damn flat so that it sits well on the floor, but I'm not overly worried about that. It's not something that's going to be frequently used. We've got memberships now. You betcha, Nightbot. Sorry, I just read a Nightbot thing. That was silly. Yeah. It's got to sit on the floor flat. I'm not really too worried about that. Let's do this first. And it seems like the further I go that way on my saw, it feels like the more it veers away from the edge of it. Yeah, it misses, but I know how it misses. Okay. Let's rip it. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay. Cool. I'm going to try to get you guys a really up close and personal view on the other side to see if you can actually see how many blocks are put together. There are 4 blocks that are put together to make this entire panel right here. And then there's a top panel and then the other panel. Each of them have 4 blocks. So altogether, 12 blocks, 3 panels. Yes, Big Squeegee, thank you for that. No clamps, not yet. No clamps yet. We will be doing clamps in a little bit. However long it takes, we're getting to the glue up today. We're going to get you guys through the end of the workday. Okay, so you can see this one I don't want to pull off. I don't want to accidentally like chunk out some wood. The rest of it was so thin that I was just able to peel it back. Let's take this guy off. And then let's see how perfectly we can line up with that first cut. That is the hard part of this project. Ah! Okay. Ow. Sorry for jostling everybody. Take you down one more peg. Yeah. All right. So yeah, we are trying to, really sorry for the jostling. There's where we're looking. Yeah. Okay. Can you see, so it's overhanging now, right? All this is an overhang. So we're gonna see how tight that blade can get to this surface right here. That is the trick. Apologies in advance for what interesting angles of me you might end up seeing. And the goal is if we're gonna miss, I would rather not take off enough because I can always keep moving the track saw deeper and deeper and deeper into it. I cannot, well, I could flip it back over, but then, you know, now we're getting into the, it's not actually 23 3/4 anymore. All right, we're gonna try right here. That is a very, very precise placement of everything. That's the view we're looking for. All right, let's give it a go. Oh, D Beach, what's going on? Welcome to the Glue Up Gang. D Beach, that is sick. Appreciate it, D Beach. Hey, welcome to the chat. If you have any questions, let me know. I can answer that for you. After I make this cut, think of something good and spicy. Here we go. All right. I need to go a little further on this side. Not that much further. Right there. All right. That was it.
Yeah, not quite. I can just feel it, just a little bit. It's not much, it's probably like a 32nd of an inch. But all I have to do is I'll take this off, come around to the front. I just gotta put it in a little deeper. So yeah, this is flush over here. It's really weird. The track saw is just missing. This is super flush, and I can just feel it right here. That's not quite flush, so I'm gonna put it in. That was a good amount. Okay. Let's try that. Just a little more, man. Just a little more. It's not much. Just moving the track saw. Oh, that's too much. Yeah, that's it. That's the placement. That's it. Oh, yeah. That was it. Okay.
Woo! So see what I mean? If you're motion sick when I move it, close your eyes. Yeah. Okay. Your skill is supreme. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it. That's what I was saying, is that my tracks, like, the further I go into the track saw, the more the blade veers from the track. So what you're supposed to be able to do is you're supposed to put the track saw spot on the line, and your saw blade will just slice a pencil line in half. I don't know why, but my track, the further I go, the more my blade moves from the line. So what I was having to do there to really hit it is like, I'm talking like a 32nd of an inch. Like, you can feel it, you know what I mean? Not crucial on that cut, again, because we were making the top of this. Nothing sits on it. That will be crucial for the ends of the next one we are doing, which we're doing right now. This guy is done for the time being. So let's keep going. Oh, McCoy's, what am I doing? How am I ever gonna get the McCoy sponsorship without the bandana? I've already made one of these in its entirety. That is over there. This is now number 2 in its entirety. Over here. Let me see if I can, I'm on one leg right now, holding this with my knee so that I can turn you. Like that. All right. So what we're gonna do, really quickly, nice. And those are extremely similar in height. Some might even say both of them are 23 3/4 inches tall. This guy is the cross piece. He's a little bigger, a little heavier. If this was not pine, it would be a real beast to lift it. Luckily, it is pine, so we're okay. The blade bends. Oh, is that what's going on? That might be what's going on. Like, it gets hot and it just like starts kind of angling out. That might be it. Thank you, Chris, if that is it. Seattle Woodman, great to have you back. Is it Seattle Woodman or Woodman? What's the emphasis on? again, D Beach. Appreciate it, man. Let's get back to it. This guy, I've already done the planer, the hand planer on the top side. Again, it needs to be aesthetically flat. Does not need to be functionally flat. If we're looking at this, as long as it looks flat, that's good. That's good for me. And I can tell you that it is well in the range of aesthetically flat. The bottom side, same thing, aesthetically flat. What needs to be perfectly functionally joint flat are the ends here. This guy, I've already cut one of them because I just kind of wanted to prove it to myself that I could before the stream today. And I did really well. There's one little spot right here, but again, I think I can smush hard enough with clamps that will go away. So we need to really quickly plane the other side just so that saws can ride on it. And then we need to make the other cut. We have to do a little bit of math. Dealer's choice. Seattle Woodman, Seattle Woodman, either one. We have to do a little bit of math to make sure that we cut it to the correct length so that it perfectly fits inside of that nook. I'm a little anxious about that, honestly, because the nook is quite tight. We might have to look at a picture. We'll get there. First, let's plane it so that we can cut it. All right. There also is the possibility that we could run this over the table saw. There's an idea. I didn't even think about that. Kind of just, it's people's preferences. I think if this was a little bit smaller, that would be a no-brainer that I would want to run it over the table saw. But it's kind of beefy. I don't know. That could quickly get to a situation that's like I'm trying to push too much wood over a table saw and I don't have good control over it. Again, not really worried about this. Just trying to get it to where a track saw can ride on this. Like, this is the underside of a low table. It's very unlikely that anyone will ever see this. And we are going to sand this later, don't worry. And it's every time I encounter one of these knots, that's when I really meet a lot of resistance and things kind of blow out, chunk out. Goodness. That's feeling good and flat. Not a crucial part of this piece, so I'm going quickly. Iron frame, good enough. For anyone who's just joining, there's an ongoing question for the chat, which is who's got the most interesting weekend plans? There's somebody who was it 10 cats and 8 kittens they were fostering and having procedures done on? That's quite the weekend. Something tells me that's not going to be a relaxing weekend. But a fulfilling weekend, if you're still in the chat. So, yes, there's the planning ASMR. Yeah, I don't know what it sounds like. On the speaker. Okay. I think we're gonna call this good. Ah. Nice. Oh, that was a tasty. Yo, these are tasty. Look at this. That's nice. That's nice. Good stuff. You're obviously a master. I appreciate that, Chris. There's a lot for me to learn. You should have seen me earlier today when I was working on this glue up. I was running around stressed, swearing, panicking. Okay. That side is our flat side. And so now we need to measure how long to cut this. First, let me take you with me. I need eat it for a video in Andrews. That's a wild proposition, bud. I bet if you fried that and you put some butter on it, maybe some garlic salt, that wouldn't be terrible. I'm getting water right now. I'm extremely thirsty. So we have to measure the thickness of the other two. Let me put you right here. I have a sink. That's my watering hole. We have to measure the thickness of the other two so that we know how long to make the one that we were working on just now. So let me go grab the other two, and let's get very, very precise measurements on the other two. But first, let me get some water. Goodness. Okay. Big squeegee with the big pole here. Should Tanner, Mr. Outer Woods, is that my nickname? Work through the weekend. Yes, no, yes, and the nights too. I know what my answer is, and it's just a yes. What's going on, Eduardo? Good to have you in the chat, bud. And the water is hot because it's hot outside. Here's the view I work with. It's beautiful. I got really, really fortunate. Some family friends of mine that were near, I started in my parents' garage like any good business should. And some family friends of mine lived, 15 minutes away. And they commissioned me to do some pieces, which would, I was very helpful at the beginning of everything. And they said that they were building this shop, and if they built it bigger, Tanner, would you rent out part of it? So I got unbelievably lucky to be out in the country just a little bit and have a really, really cool, quiet wood shop. It can get lonely, but that's all right. That's why we're doing these live videos. In Andrew says, I would boil it to soften the fibers and make a stew. That's not a bad idea. Why do I feel like, have you guys ever watched the show Alone, where they have all the people go to I think it's British Columbia or something, and they see who can survive longest? Didn't people eat wood chips to survive? Chris, I like watching your skill. Appreciate it, ma'am. Okay. So, according to this, and I need to make sure that I don't do a wrong calculation because I'm trying. Where the hell did my pencil go? I don't do a wrong calculation because I'm trying to really be engaging for a video. But according to the calculations here, the total width needs to be 36 3/8. That's the width. Excellent. This length needs to be that number minus the thickness of the other two. So let me go grab these other two. In Andrews. Oh, World War II they did that? Dang. That's really, really unfortunate. These might not even be the same thickness, both of these guys together. They might be different. And I don't know which side's the inside anymore. I'll have to figure that out again. Okay. So, did I not leave myself any breadcrumbs or bread trails? What? Okay. Oops, sorry. I know I'm wiggling the camera. It's unpleasant. Okay. So, I need a measuring device. Here's one. Here's two. This, there's no way that's the inside. Okay, this is the inside over here. We're gonna say going out that way is facing front. So I think, it's actually like this. I think that's it. Am I wrong? That looks cleaner. I think I'm wrong. What am I doing? Yeah, I think at some point I got confused. But you want the better faces on the inside because the outside is up against the wall. So no one will ever see that. And we have a crack. Oh, that's what's going on. There it is. Okay, that feels better. Right? I feel like I'm going crazy. No, that's not right. This is right. The reason I'm trying to figure this out is because I don't know if the tops and the bottoms of these, okay, that's definitely the outside. This is 100% the outside over here. So that is the inside. I like that at the back. This looks fine. The only thing I don't love right now is that crack. I might try to put that to the back, actually. Yeah, this looks good. Okay. We've sorted it out. We're good. That's it. Outside. This is inside. This is also inside. Top. Top. This is the front. This is the front. This is the back. And this is the back. We are golden. Okay. How wide are they? How wide? I don't know why someone put 12ths on one side of this ruler. Who would use 12ths? Like, I know that if you we're going for like, who would use 12ths? I understand why it's there, but it seems really silly. Okay. This is 5 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. 5 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. This is why you use 12, so you don't have half of a 16th. 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. 4.5 sixteenths is how thick this guy is. Is he the same thickness everywhere? 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, it is the same thickness. It's supposed to be, but I'm kind of surprised by that. To tell you the truth, that's incredible. It's the same thickness everywhere. Okay. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. I'm measuring twice, I'm cutting once. How wide or thick is this one? Let's see how close I got to having them be equal. 5 and 1, 2, 3 and a half. There's 1/16 difference, at least there. Let's see everywhere else. 5 and 1, 2, wow. I'm actually shocked that this is staying the same thickness. I mean, that's what's supposed to happen, but I didn't run this through any like planer. Okay, 5 and 1, 2, that's 1/2 of a 16th less thick. That's fine. Okay. Cool. Cool. So what I need to do really quickly is he marks the outside. Should you label them now? I did label them. Mary? Go with Marie. Bye? Yes. Hope you have a great day, Mary or Marie. What else we got? David. What's going on, David? Okay, so Mary was the one who asked. Where am I located? Chris, I'm down in Texas. Yeah, it's hot still. It's October and it's hot. McCoy's. What a fantastic bandana manufacturer. Sponsor Outer Woods, McCoy's. Okay, awesome. So, I have this, which is what I've been going off of. But if you'll allow me, I'm going to pause the stream for just a moment because I need to look at my phone at a picture. So if you'll allow me, I'll be back in 20 to 30 seconds. So I can look at that picture, write down the measurement one more time so I can figure out if I want to go in just a little from that to okay. Oh, we significantly dropped people. Okay, people are quite impatient. Yes, so it was 36 and a half is the internal dimension of what we were going for in this nook. So as long as we can be just underneath that, so 36, I like 3/8. That's what I have written down. We're gonna go with 36 and 3/8. Are we back? I see the timer going again. Someone drop a comment if we're indeed back. So the math now. We went back up. People dipped when I paused for just a moment. That was wild. Yeah, gotta have the stuff ready to go. That would be the move. And the thing is, it's a bummer because I looked at the picture and the picture was exactly like I have written down here. This is a measure 4 times, cut once sort of thing. Yeah, 36 and 3/8 is the magic number. Clive, appreciate it. D Beach with the green name. We're back, baby. Sup, fam? Walker. How are we doing on a Friday afternoon, my bud? Now we just have to do a simple little math problem here. And unfortunately, I can't use my calculator because if I exit this live stream, 4/5 of you will go in 3 seconds. So I've got to do it with my head the old-fashioned way. 36 3/8 minus 5 3.5 sixteenths, yikes, plus 5 4.5 sixteenths. All right, that's the math question, math problem. Let's see if anyone wants to double check me. Much appreciated. We got 36 3/8, okay? Minus, this is all in parentheses now, 5 3.5 sixteenths plus 5 4.5 sixteenths. So I'm going to do it in my, let's see. Oh, that's actually really not too bad whatsoever. That's fantastic. If you do this with me, you'll understand why. Okay, I've got my number. I didn't say it. Oh, Joe Mama, what's going on? Say it one more time. Okay, the math problem, and I've got my answer. Class, I have my answer. Let's see who the star pupil is to either say I'm wrong or to double check it. The question, 36 3/8. Okay, 36 3/8 minus, all in parentheses, this is the next big part, 5 3.5 sixteenths plus 5 4.5 sixteenths. See what you guys get. I don't know, Mr. Biffix, are you able to, or Squeege, able to put it in the chat somehow or something? I've got my answer. I'm hoping that someone else gets the same answer so I can feel a little bit more confident in my answer. But I feel pretty confident. Squeege. Yeah. Yeah, you got, that's it, Squeege. Metric system. Finette, I have gotten into many an internet war about the imperial versus the metric system. Personally speaking, I think both systems are fantastic. It's whichever one you're familiar with. If I grew up using the metric system, I would love the metric system. I did a lot of physics in high school and college to get the degree I got, and we did everything in metric, and it was wonderful. But I use imperial, inches, etc., because everything that I buy here in the States comes in inches. Like the tools are set in inches. Like the table saw has inches on it. And so that's what I do. But I would have loved to use metric if it was the system that everything was kind of integrated with. Anyway, 46 7/8. Hold on, Squeege. Not quite. Because it's 36 minus both of the 5s together. Like, see what I'm saying here? These 5s needed to be added. 5 and 3.5 sixteenths and 5 and 4.5 sixteenths need to be added and then subtracted altogether from the total 36. So, might have gotten our wires crossed here. Yeah. 25 7/8 we got from Walker Payne. That's what I got. 25 7/8. It's backwards, I know. Yeah. Oh, Joe Mama. Yeah, we got 2. Okay. I feel better now. Thank you. Now we just got to make that cut. So, here we go. Time to take a courage pill. to make, this is what I would consider the scariest cut. I hope I made this big enough, actually. There is a tiny, tiny bit of fear in me if I made this thing big enough. 25 is big enough. 25 and 7/8. 25. It's actually very much big enough. 25, 7/8. Hell yeah. And we're going to make a bunch of marks. Why not? 25, 7/8. $25, 7/8. Okay. Cool. Let's make a line. I ain't no engineer. That's okay, Squeege. You have an MD behind your name. So you learned a lot of other stuff that wasn't inches related. Now let's see if they all line up with each other is the question. Looks as if they do. This might be a tougher cut to get through. If you saw the rest of the cuts that I was making, I was just cutting off slivers of wood. And so there wasn't as much heat because it just kind of dissipated out. The saw blade wasn't meeting nearly as much resistance. But this guy, I got to get through all of that pine on the end over here. Okay. Okay. We're going to measure twice. We're going to cut once. So what I want to do is I've measured each of these individually, right? And that's all cool. I have a broom. Why am I trying to blow dust away? I literally have a broom the closest thing to me. We're going to smush them together. And we're going to see how big they are. Okay. Do I have some clamps? So what I am seeing is, unsurprisingly, they are not perfectly face to face. If both of those internal faces were as flat can be, they would be perfectly face to face. Again, not surprised that they aren't. That would have been remarkable. We're just trying to see if this indeed is functionally the same distance that I got when I added them individually. If you were in the chat yesterday, you know that your boy got a real gnarly splinter just before the live yesterday. And it's still in there. It's actually probably the worst splinter I've ever got. I can't even see it. I've dug a hole in my hand and I can't even see it. So what we're looking for here is we want to make sure that this is 10.5. Or less. Less would be okay. And it does look like it's 10.5, maybe a 16th under it. Yeah, depending on where you measure. And again, it's because these two big old faces in the middle are not perfectly face jointed. We didn't need them to be, but it is feeling right about 10 and a half, maybe just a little under. And correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm kind of going right now, but correct me if I'm wrong, if these together, right here, are just a little thinner than we thought, smushed in like this, oh, it's really hard to be a whoa. Anyway, this way. If they're just a little thinner that way than we thought, and the piece gets thinner, right? Just gets a little bit thinner, and that will still fit into the nook. If these were larger than we thought, and we cut the other guy, assuming that those were smaller than they were going to be, they got larger, we'd have issues. It wouldn't fit in the nook. So what are we making? Let's see. I had the dang thing. Here it is. I haven't showed it in a while. This is what we're making. The math we are doing right now is trying to figure out how big to make this, how long to make this internal part right here. Because this goes very tightly into a nook. So we're trying to make it fit as tight as possible without being too big. So that's what we're trying to do. I'm happy with this. I am happy with the measurement that we have just taken. As long as this is not quite 10 and a half, we're good. And it is not quite 10 and a half. And at the bottom, yeah, at the bottom it's kind of flaring out a little bit, but we can kick the bottom in. That is a little bit concerning that down here it flares out. I think it's going to be okay. And if we needed to, I could always keep hand planing to make sure the bottom fit. It does look as if we can squeeze it tighter. And these are, relatively speaking, very, very minuscule clamps. Danielle, or Daniel, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, these are really kind of weak clamps compared to the stuff that I'm actually going to be smashing all these joints together with. Let's do this. Let's cut it. Taking a courage pill, and we're going to cut it on this line. Minus 10.5 equals 26 and 3/8 minus 0.5 equals 25 and 7/8. One more time. Where's my tape measurer? Here it is. 25 and 7/8. It is 25 and 7/8. There's nothing left to do but to cut it. All right, friends. What do we got, Chris? All right, right on. The old handy track saw. And remember, this one, we have to really get the two cuts on the top side and the bottom side to be perfect. There is part of me that wants to run this over the table saw, but it's just a little too big to feel really comfortable sliding this huge piece over a table saw. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use a track saw.
All right. All right. Cool. I went fine.
No notes. McCoy's, sponsor me. Yeah, that was fine. So the question is, how do we get that line perfectly to match up on the other side? Again, I'm going to leave it too big because I can always keep coming in and working in. But we got to meet that line perfectly in the middle is the goal. Let's get this thing flipped. This one's significantly heavier than the other two. And it's interesting because this actually came, the pieces, oh shit. The pieces that made up the 4 beams, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 beams that made up this guy came from another separate beam from the guy that gave us the other legs. And it seems like this wood is heavier. So I don't know if it's more dense. I don't know if there's like a water content in here. It came from the same supplier, but just interesting. Here it is. Okay. So we're trying to get these lines. Sorry. Oh, David, what's going on? David Sev? David Kev? Apology, I'm gonna get so many pronunciations wrong here. So the move now is to try to hit the line, not hit the measurement. We've already set the measurement, now we gotta hit the line. You obviously hope both are the same. But I'm trying to hit the line that I've already cut. That looks very good. Let's come over here. Let's do this. Did I do that on the right side of this? Yeah, it's on the inside. Just drawing the line back here. Now, what are the chances that those lines meet up and are also going to meet up with 25 7/8 right in the middle? I'm giving the chances of that happening a low probability. Things just don't work out that perfectly always. We're going to try it. I'm making marks as if it's going to happen. Let's see. I'm going to get this onto the top. Okay. I'm going to get this onto the top. Okay. All right. Moment of truth. 25 and 7. Oh, doggy. Yo. That's sick. That's so good. Oh, man, that's great. That's great. Now, what about this side? Holy moly. That's actually phenomenal. Okay. Now, it's easy to draw the line. Can you cut the line? We got a couple people asking what we're making. Here it is. I'll show this every once in a while because I know we got people coming in and out. This is what we are making right here. That is what we're making. Currently, we are making this middle chunky top. Right on? Right on. And so we are cutting it to an extremely precise length. That's what we're making. What I was just saying is, It's one thing to be able to draw a very nice line. It is another thing to be able to cut exactly on that line. That's what we're going to try to do. Let's give it a go.
Oh, we're fine. Trying to get this track exactly on it. Making the most fine adjustments. And I'm leaving it over if I'm gonna leave it anywhere, so that way I can keep going and getting the cut deeper if I need to. I can't put wood back on. All right. The money cut. Weird noise. Didn't like that. Dang. So, here's what's happened.
The McCoys sponsor me. The cut was really close. Like shockingly close. But as I'm feeling it, and don't pay too much attention to the two colors here, because the two colors, it's just the direction that the blade is spinning when it hits it, it's flipping the fibers in a different way. So this is flipping it one way, and the bottom was flipping it the other way. That's why there's two tones. You can have a perfectly flat face with two tones doing this method, but I am feeling it, and it's like a 64th of an inch. It's like just barely to where you can feel it. And the reason that's a pain is because if it was bigger, it would be easier to make micro adjustments. But these are like molecular adjustments. It's not that crazy, but it's like as little as I can move this track, that's how much I need to move this track. Okay. Man, what a bummer. How am I going to do this? Okay. I think that was it. I think that was it. Let's see.
Yeah, that 1/64th feeling, that's a bad feeling. You can just feel it. Like, can you see it? Oh, the orientation. All right, you're not going to be able to see it. But you're right there. Let's try it. Damn it. It's even closer now. How did I make it even closer? How did I do that? That's gotta be it. That's gotta be it. Yeah, that's gonna do it. That's gonna do it. That's as good as we're gonna get it.
That's as good as we're gonna get it. Okay, that's good. That's good. That is good. You'd never use a planer for something like that. So here's kind of the thing about it. What up, G Russ? Any other questions? Yeah, another 64th feeling. London. Those are some sweet stickers or badges. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, London. Your dad makes stuff. That's cool. Yeah. So here's the McCoys sponsor me. Here's the thing with the jointer. See if I can describe this. So the joint right now, we have effectively. This is what we're trying to trim. Oh, geez. This is what we're trying to trim, right? We're trying to trim this, grains running vertically. If we were to run this over the jointer like this, just over that jointer right there, what will happen is most of it's going to be A-okay, but then the last little bits, when the blade is doing this business, the last bits blow out, if that makes sense. You know what I'm talking about? Does that make sense? The grain is just going in such an orientation to where you could do something called the sacrifice piece of wood, where basically you glue another piece of wood to the outside of it, and that way all the good stuff doesn't get blown out, and then the sacrifice piece that gets blown out. However, I didn't do that. Maybe I should have, but I would have had to like get a piece wide enough. And don't get me wrong, I have been thinking about that. And the other thing, the next thing we actually have to do, which is kind of frustrating, is the piece needs to be 20, we're like a quarter of an inch too deep on the piece right now, unfortunately. So we actually have to run these sides over the jointer. And theoretically, You could blow out some of the side first and then flip it and then clean up the blowout. I don't know how much it's going to blow out though. So yeah, let's get the actual total the depth of this thing now. It's going to be quick. We're actually getting very close now to the glue up. Let's get the depth of this. So I want to. How deep are we? Ow, man. Yeah, so I got this gnarly splinter yesterday, and it's just making everything 20% more unpleasant today. Okay, how deep are you right now? If I recall, I think each of these blocks were 6 1/4, meaning that the whole thing should be exactly 25. And it is exactly 25. So basically what this amounts to, let's see how long this one is, the one that I was just cutting. I'm hoping it is exactly 25. That's what we need. That's what we need. Come on. Who thinks it's going to be exactly 25? I don't. I think it's 1/8 of an inch bigger than that for whatever reason. 25, come on. It's 1/16 of an inch bigger than that. Shoot. Okay. That's all right. So we need to run these over the jointer. And, that's, okay. Didn't know you could do that. Not quite sure what you're referring to. Maybe the cut I was making. Oh, there's a feature on here. Oh, okay. Yeah, what's going on, Billy? Thanks for joining the stream. I'm making, where is it? Here it is. I'll show it every once in a while. It's on the thumbnail. I don't know how many people clicked on the thumbnail versus just scrolled into this. This is what we're making. This guy right here. Okay. So the trick now is I can't just clean up the edges willy-nilly until they're in totality the same depth, because I really want the beams to line up going up, across, and down. I really want that to happen. This piece it's so much harder than it looks. And I didn't know that coming into it. I was just like, yeah, it's not even a miter joint. We'll just rip through that real fast. Unfortunately, it's gotten so much more difficult. Okay, here's what we'll do. Let's scoot these out. And then I know this isn't going to be quite the orientation, but if I can get the... Yeah, this one feels wet. Straight up, this top one feels wet. Which is interesting. But if I can get the seams to line up from the side, which I have the view of right here, then I know, okay. And we might have to do some averages because they don't look to all be the same. Yeah, that's going to be fine. Okay. Okay. Let me show you what I'm looking at. Sorry for the jostling. Sorry for the jostling. There. I'm trying to line up the seams in between the beams on these and these. And again, I know this is not the right orientation at the end of the day, but the beams will still line up. Okay. How do they look? Yeah, we're gonna have to do some averages, which is okay. That's pretty good. Cool. How can I get that to stay? See what I did? Can you see the, you probably can't even see the joints in between them. That's okay. Let's make some marks. I'm just making a mark where I need to clean the top one too. Why does that? That seems like much larger than 25. No, it's not. Oh, whoa, that's the 28 right there. That's interesting. Or 24 and 7/8. Okay. I'm going to make a mark. Need a flat edge. If I'm able, need to make a mark to right here. Cool. And then over here, if I'm able, I need to clean this. Right there. Can you see that? Kind of. Okay. So then let me make some, this is the top, this is the front, oh my goodness, back, okay. Just making sure I've oriented myself, front, outside, great. Then we'll come over here, and we're gonna do the same thing. Yeah. Okay. And we'll screw up the other side by doing this, but that's okay. We've already got what we needed from the other side. Oh, you stuck some. I think the bottom's stuck on something in the ground. There's like little glue nodules and stuff all over the place. Gonna have to move the top. Okay. Eesh. Okay, that's probably as good as we're gonna get that. I have lost my pencil, it's underneath me. So I'm gonna try to bring this line up, and I'm going to try to cut or plane that off. That's the goal. Okay. And do the same back here. And the thing is, I don't know how perfectly all this is gonna line up, truth be told. But as long as it's close. Oh, right on. He's referring to the Nightbot. Cool. All right, right on. Yeah, we're going to the jointer now. So, oh, I have the fan on. How lovely. We're turning that off. We don't need it. So this is going to be a little tough because I have to pick up that big piece and move it over the jointer right here. And what we're trying to do is we're just trying to take off a little bit from the ends so that they fit real nice. Don't worry, big squeegee, this is not on. It's not plugged in. Hey, remember yesterday I said that the dust collection was just atrociously full? And I was like, I need to change that today. I did. So theoretically, this thing was clogged to holy hell. But we got it unclogged. So, yikes. It does look as if this pine might have some like sap or kind of oil or something in it. And so I see some buildup. So I'm glad that I don't use this very often. Let's grab this thing. And we're gonna see if we can run this over it. Okay. That's relatively square. Easy. Put you a little closer, why not? Right there. I'm going to turn on the vacuum. Okay.
Okay. That's fine.
Izzo's, the planing actually went fine. The jointing did. What up, Wayne? The jointing went totally fine. The thing that I was worried about, and it kind of happened, is that the line that I drew on this side versus this side, they didn't line up when I made the joint. Like when I cleared this, it was not cleared over here, and same thing on the bottom, only by like, I don't know, a 32nd of an inch. I think that's gonna be a-okay. So now we need to actually sand this, not sand this, sorry, glue this. And the way we're going to do it is upside down instead of not upside down. We're also going to put some dominoes in it really quickly. What time is it? 4:21. We're doing okay. We're going to see if we can... How's my phone battery? It's okay. Okay. Yeah, the way I want to do this, I want to put dominoes in it to align everything. And that's going to be super quick. 3 minutes, 5 minutes. We're just going to do it on the joint lines. 1, 2, 3. That should be a-okay. Just on the joint lines. I could do 4. Maybe I should do 4. Now I'll do 3. I'll do 4. I'm doing 4. Let's see. That's one big jointer. Yes, it is helical. Yeah, it's that thing plows through some wood. It's very nice. Yeah, so we're going to make some dominoes in this using a domino cutter. We've been doing that a lot recently. And I am going to do 4. I am going to do 4 because the geometry of the joint is such to where we're not putting the top piece on top of these, we're putting it in between it. So these dominoes are going to be kind of tasked with holding up quite a bit of weight forever. Obviously the glue is going to help, but we're going to do 4. We're going to do 4. So let's get that going. I am going to... I think it's going to be all right to just... I feel like what I'm trying to decide here right now is when I go in with the domino cutter, how much left and right it clears past the domino and how accurate I have to be with my measurement. And I think it's going to clear enough to where I don't have to be just spot on. My water now has sawdust in it. That's all right. Okay. Yeah, let's just go for it. So that's 25. We're going to do it at 3 1/8. I'm just going to do it at the center of every single one of these. 3 1/8. That's 6 1/4. That's, let's see, 9 3/8. 9 3/8. We'll do it from this way as well. Can you even see what's going on? Yeah, you can see what's going on. Let's get you closer. Just making the marks for the dominoes. 3 1/8. Awesome. 9 3/8. Cool. Those are the domino holes. I'll cut those in just a moment. Let's do it for this one as well. Three 1/8. 9 3/8. Making a mark. Going from the other side. 3 1/8. And then 9 3/8. Beautiful. Okay. So now let's get those dominoes cut real fast. This will be super quick. Okay. How are we doing? Anyone with new weekend plans? I know I asked that earlier. It's so the shop is in Austin, Texas, and I believe this is the first weekend of ACL. If you've heard of that, Austin City Limits. And now is kind of when the bigger bands start kicking off. And I actually can hear it, I think, just like low thumping in the background, which is kind of cool. Been to ACL a few times. It's been a little while.
Okay. Then I have to do
The holes on the big guy. So you can feel it, right? We're getting pretty close. Once I do these holes, that's the glue up. Oh, that's Nightbot. Nightbot, I don't need to respond to you. Right? That's a bot. Cool. Okay. Yeah, I just need to do the dominoes for this big piece. And then it's glue time. Nice. Okay. So it does end up coming out to a similar length. It's just under 25, just under 25, just under 25, and a little more under 25. That's fine. They're close enough. So then I make the same marks. This is the top, that's the front. Excellent. Make the same marks right here. 3 1/8. God damn it. I chunked a little bit of the corner. That's annoying. 3 1/8. 9 3/8. 3 1/8. 9 3/8. Yeah. I chunked literally the front edge of the corner. How did I even do that? Ah, damn it. That's frustrating. Oh yeah, my bad. Here you go. We have the lone survivors. 15 of you left. We're almost done. 3 1/8. 9 3/8. 3 1/8. Do I want to call an audible? No, I don't. 3 1/8. 9 3/8. Awesome. Okay. Make those. Now we're ready to glue. Yeah. Apologies for my camera work. Okay, yes, Finette, thank you. Yeah, I was just talking. Okay. Ooh.
Whew. Okay, now
Let's get the dust out of the holes. Oh man, can you tell I'm losing steam? Because I can tell I'm losing steam. How we doing? 1 hour, 54 minutes of just grinding. Okay, putting you right here. I'm going to get that leaf blower. Ugh. So we got to get, I don't have it hooked up to a hose, a dust hose. So that's not going to do it. Leaf blower. Leaf blower. Yeah. Joe Mama. Yeah. Yeah, the dust in this feels like sticky rather than like light and fluffy. I think I got enough of it out to where it won't interfere with the dominoes seating fully. Yeah. Pro tip, you never want to blow into a hole that has sawdust into it and not be cognizant of the dust flying out directly into your eyes. I have done that plenty of times. Okay. Now we just glue it together. That's it. Which actually could be a little tricky. I'm gonna bring you over here. Squeegee. Don't quite understand that question, Joe Mama. That's all right. We'll do it right here. So we're gonna glue this upside down so that the glue has time to set before, how many clamps do I need? 1. I bet you if I did 4 clamps. No, we'll do 5. We'll do 5 clamps. Here we go. So another reason custom woodworking is so expensive for people looking to buy custom woodworking pieces is because all of the tools required to make this stuff are super expensive. Like all these clamps, I think one of these clamps is $50. It's been a while since I bought them. I'm pretty sure one clamp, $50. Okay, cool. And then we will do, that's way, we might be able to get by with just 4. Let's do just 4, and then we can always do some on the side if we want. Cool. All right. Now we got to put it over here. 22. 22, you guys. The real fans. Ah! Ah! Okay. That's the top. Man, I'm really frustrated at myself for breaking the corner or smushing the corner. It's so annoying. Like, I'll be able to cosmetically fix it, but that's really annoying. So this guy, this is going to be an interesting glue up. I can quite honestly say I've never done one exactly like this before. God, they're just so hard to manipulate. Okay, this is the inside. Just like that. Yeah, 4 clamps should be plenty. Can you see? Maybe I'll lower it. Sorry for the wobbling. There we go. If I back it up. There we go. That looks a little better. What happened to the corner? I actually don't know. Oh yeah, you think the math and the measuring scared off people? Yeah, it could have. I don't know what happened to the corner. Truth be told, it's just so heavy that every time I move it, like setting it down anywhere is so difficult to like get your fingers out of there, you know what I mean? So I think that's maybe what happened. How am I gonna actually roll the glue on any of this? Ah. Okay, that's the top. Yes, I think I just smushed the corner when I was moving it one time. Don't know when, don't know where. Okay. Put him just over here somewhere. See what I mean? How do you glue that? I don't know. Okay. Then, which side's the front side? That's the back, that's the back. This is the top. Okay. It's funny because we've had a lot of really good viewership over these last live videos. And this step right here is probably like the most interesting one. Lather it on your body and roll around. That might be it. See what I'm saying? How do you roll that face? My fingers, you know what I mean? Like, where do you put your fingers? Okay. I think what I'm gonna do, this is easy enough to move. I don't want to rock that on those clamps because I think it might damage the corners of the wood. Let me get the roller. Okay. I did a glue up earlier today. So my roller's got a little bit of gunk on it. And don't worry, I will make noise as I start to glue. So if you're in it and you want to watch, that's fantastic. But if you need to accomplish something right now, you can do so for a moment while I sort all this out. I do want to make sure that the dry run, everything fits. So if you can see what I'm doing, I'm putting the dominoes into the holes because I want to make sure that they all fit. Yeah, sometimes I do a dry run of the entire glue up with no glue on it. Sometimes I don't. I'm just gonna make sure these guys fit. Mainly side to side is what I'm after. Geez, this is so difficult. Can't see in there to see where I'm missing. I think it's just tight, honestly. Sometimes what you have to do is like squeeze it into place. Is that working? Is that going in there? Oh, we still got a ways. Oh, that fit. Okay, so we are in over there. Okay, so those fit, which is good. So yeah, you squeeze it over here, and then after you do that, then you can, okay, we're in. Yeah, end of the day Friday peeps are checking out, that's for sure. So we're in. So this side works. Let me just real quick make sure the other side works. And then if it does, we're gonna go for it. Okay. And then I should be able pretty easily to toe with like a right edge or a right angle if the piece is vertical. I feel pretty confident that it's going to be vertical. Just because of how big and flat of faces we're working with. This thing's gargantuan, dude. Okay. All right. Go to your homes. Go to your homes. You're in. Ooh, yeah, that was good. Got like 3 of them in. Yeah, you stay right there. Are you missing low or high? You are missing. Go in there. I think. Oh, you're missing left. Okay. Now, are you missing low or high? I don't know. Are you missing left? We're in. Okay. Whew. So, we know we can do it. We know things fit. Now we just have to do the same thing. Brazil, what's going on? We got someone from Brazil. That's sick. Okay. We just have to glue that now. That's it. That's it. Let me take this off. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I wonder if the move. Let me take. This guy starting out was good. I think the move is going to be. Okay. Are we ready? We ready to do it, gang? Because it's happening. It's going down. Here's the move. We are going to pick this guy up. Put him right here. We're going to lather that with glue, put the dominoes in, and smush them down. How's my phone battery doing? 18%. We can do it. Yeah, measure twice. I'm happy with it. Squeege. Is that Biff? Yeah. Biffix, I'm happy with it. It's not getting any better than that. Okay. Just 2 joints. That's it. I'm just cleaning off the glue real fast. Doesn't have to be perfect. I have a well-deserved cup of water waiting for me after this glue up. Okay, golden. Enough glue in there. We're actually going to, help ourselves out with this right here. All right, we ready? 40 people. What are we all doing this weekend? That's the question. Here we go. Here we go. No turning back now. Got to put glue in the domino holes. There we go. And then I will use this guy to spread things around. I do not care if I get glue on the top face. I can sand that off very easily. Want a lot of glue to fill in gaps and cracks. Okay, it's game time. It is game time. Dominoes go in. There is glue in the holes already. Nice. Can we see? All right, we can see. Wanted to make sure I wasn't like pointed up at the ceiling or something. Okay, great. Now this, we need glue on the top of the dominoes. I don't think that does a whole lot, but it's all right. Okay, now how the hell am I gonna get that side? I'll do that later, it's whatever. Park it right there. Get down. Okay. Now we have to align those dominoes with their specific holes. All right, we got one. Bingo. We don't need that to sit perfectly yet. We do need it to go. Let's encourage it just a little. I don't think it's in. Which way are you missing? I can't tell which way you're missing. Oh, you're in. Thank God. Okay. Why not get him tight? Now watch this joint close up. This is some satisfying stuff. Can we see the joint? Watch it tighten up. Isn't that nice? We're really gonna crank it down later, but right now, just trying to get it to not go anywhere. It'll get tighter. Okay, that's decent. Now we gotta do the other side. Okay. Okay. So we're over here. The way we're gonna do this is, I wanna make a mark. Oh my God. Need a pencil. Need a pencil. Ah! Okay. We need to get glue everywhere inside of that. Do not want to have to sand off a whole bunch of glue later on. Okay, great. Why are there so many freaking chunks taken out of this? Damn it. Ah. Okay. That's fine. There's a bug flying around my head that's really annoying. It's the inside. Okay. I already have glue in those. All right, let's park the bus. Come on. Park. That bus is parked. Come on. Why aren't you going in? There it is. Okay. Can you see it? Yeah. For the most part. Okay. Yes. Yes. All right. Now, just close the gap. There we go. Now I'm just tightening the holy hell out of this. Okay. How's it looking? Decent. Geez, that's a beefy piece. This is actually the first time I'm laying eyes on this thing. Okay. Now, for the insurance clamps. Okay. We even on camera anymore? Yeah, we're still on. Sorry, I'm not responding to anybody right now. Okay. And there's a lot of pressure on this piece. Okay. Now, it's far too late to do anything about it. 36 and an eighth is what we need. Or 36 and 3/8. Okay. It's 36 and a half. What is it over here? That's also 36 and a half, which, that's okay. I wonder how much of that is measurements or how much of that is potentially the legs are bowing out a little bit. I don't want to open up seams by crunching it at the top. But I do just want to see if I put some pressure up here, if I can get the top and the bottom to both be the exact same dimension, that 36 3/8. That's what we're going for. We're close enough to where I'm sure I could probably just shave some off. Again, I really don't want to pinch it. A lot of these seams look really, really good. This is the only one that I don't love, but that's okay. Did that change it at all? Oh, it did. Hell yeah. Okay. Yeah, that brought it in. Brought it in like a big 1/16 of an inch. That was perfect. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. Whew, that's a success. Front face. Can't see. Front face. I think that's... Yeah, there's a big old crack back there. Crank these one more time. What we won't know until tomorrow is what the seams look like on top. But they're going to be what they're going to be at this point. You know what I mean? Okay. Wow. Okay, how are we doing? Is it the right length on the top? Yeah, it's like 30, it's 36 3/8. Maybe just like a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. Yeah, it does look ethereal in the setting sun. Yeah, it could be just a little bigger. What I do want to check, now that it's all clamped together, how big is the bottom? So remember, we're upside down here, but that is 36 and basically 3/8. It's like a 16th under. And then the top is 36 and 3/8 on the money. Yeah. So I'm going to consider this a win. It looks super, super squared up, which is awesome. Oh my gosh. That was gnarly, gang. Let me read back through the comments. Finette, thank you. Well done. Why didn't you glue the other side? Not quite sure what you mean there. If you, I might be able to answer that if you ask again. Growing the tree in the shape your client desires. Yeah, that would be the way to do it, wouldn't it? Oh yeah, McCoy's. McCoy's. Sponsor us, dude. What are you doing? Holy moly, it's been a 3-hour stream. Woo! Okay. The suspense, yeah, it's suspenseful. Okay, I think I got most of it. It's quitting time. You dang straight, it's quitting time. Thank you, everybody. One more time to show you. It's upside down, but that is what we have gluing. And this, where am I? This is what it's supposed to look like. Can we see how bad is that? Pretty good, right? Thank you, everybody, for watching. Let me do one more check. It's supposed to be 23 3/4 tall. That's exactly what it is. Yep. And the depth of it, just under 25. It's 25. They'll be all right. That's it. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. That was a marathon of a stream. Give a little zoom in. Oh, yeah, zoom in. Okay, here we go. One last. Enjoy a big glass of water. I really, really will. The zoom in. There's the joint, if we can see it. For as big and meaty and beefy as this piece is, this one's a little harder with the blue tape. I'm extremely happy with that joint. From the side, very tight, really good. This one, little bit of an open seam. I'm gonna be able to fix that with some wood glue and some sawdust. Let's look at the back real fast. Yeah, we got beads coming up. If you got beads, you know you've done your job correctly. Over here, very tight. This is a really, really good one. It's been a nightmare to get it to this point, but yes. When is the next stream? It's probably gonna be, let's say Monday. I'm gonna work this weekend. I might do a sporadic, spur of the moment stream if I have something that I feel like I can capture that would be interesting. For you guys, just a teaser, this right here, that's a video coming up on YouTube, a full-length video that we'll have hopefully within the next month or so, maybe next like 2 or 3 weeks or so. It's gonna be a really cool coffee table, live edge, and some walnut. But everyone, enjoy your weekend, enjoy your Friday. Maybe see you tomorrow or Sunday, if not Monday. Ciao. Let's see if I can figure out how to turn this thing.